All right, greetings everyone, and thanks for joining us for this webinar. We're very excited to be here today to share with you how you can empower low vision students with voice technology. This is by far, so far, the most popular webinar by registration numbers that we've had, so hopefully we can deliver for you. We have 30 minutes of action planned. A little housekeeping before we get started. First, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the QA function or the chat function. My colleague Eric Beauchamp is on the line and he will field those questions and share those with us. And also, there should be a poll showing for you right now. Please answer those questions and we'll shut that down in a few moments and share the results with you. So without further ado, let's slide right in here to our agenda for this 30 minutes, which will be action-packed. We'll go through some introductions and goals for our time together today. Then we will have a presentation on the Acapella voice technology, followed by a demonstration of how we have integrated those voices and that technology into our Prodigy software. And of course, Q&A at the end to the extent we need. However, again, please use that QA or chat function if you have questions along the way, and we'll try to answer them while they're top of mind for you. So let me first introduce our speakers for today. I am Roger Steinberg. I'm the low vision product manager here at HumanWare. Been with the company for about 3 years. I have about 25 years of experience in assistive technology and education from Kurzweil to Bomb USA and a variety of other assistive technology roles. And along with me today, we're very happy to have Nicolas Mazars from Acapella. And Nicolas, if you would introduce yourself briefly.
Yes, good morning all, good afternoon. Thank you, Roger, for the introduction. Thank you for having me today. So I'm Nicolas, working for Acapella, been around for 15 years now. I joined the company 2008, mainly in charge of sales activities for North America, for part of Europe, and also involved in product developments for all related to voice customization. That's something I will mention a bit later. Thank you again for the introduction here.
Thank you, Nicolas. All right, so we'll go forward here. We have a couple of goals, kept it simple. Again, for the short amount of time that we have, we want to retain our simplicity here, but we hope that by the end of our time together today, you will understand how text-to-speech helps diverse learners, so certainly those with low vision, but others as well, and also have some idea of where voice technologies are headed in the future. And we hope that you will learn how Prodigy has integrated, in this case, the Acapella voice technology to support the users of our Connect 12 or our Mac Connect devices with our Prodigy software. So I'll pause here and Eric, if you could end the poll and share the results before we jump into the presentation, that will help me gauge how I should present on the Connect 12 and Prodigy.
Sure. Good day, everyone. So we had two questions in the poll. So the first one was, do you own or use a Connect 12 or Mac Connect? So we have 47% that actually use other devices. 40% do not own a Mac Connect or a Connect 12, and 13% do own a Connect 12 or use a Connect 12 or Mac Connect. Question 2, how comfortable are you with Connect's Prodigy software? So 7% not comfortable, 60% beginner. So there's your sweet spot there, Roger. 13% intermediate, 13% advanced, and we have a 7% which master the Prodigy software.
All right, thank you, Eric. Much appreciate that. Yeah, so I think that the preponderance are beginners, and I think that what we're going to show today is certainly going to be of high value to you as you implement and use the Connect 12 or the Mac Connect and our Prodigy software, and certainly sort of at the core of what we do is text-to-speech technology. So with that, I'm going to slide our PowerPoint forward here and allow Nicolas to share a little bit about what Acapella is up to and the voice technologies.
Yeah, thank you. So again, Nicolas from Acapella. I'm in charge of, like I said, sales and product development, but mainly related to inclusive markets. So inclusive market for Acapella means different subsegments. One of them is something we've been addressing for all those years is low vision blindness community. So that's something we've been working on for almost 30 years now, and myself 15 years. And along those years, we try to build all those partnerships, and one of them that we're really proud of is the one with HumanWare, which started basically slightly above 10 years ago now, if I remember correctly. It was slightly after 2010 or so. And the partnership with HumanWare was is beneficial at different steps. The first one is we have a strong connection to low vision market blindness users, and we try to basically enhance a voices development based on that. We're collecting all the feedback. We try to basically select what we should develop for the market and for the purpose here. So we move from because Acapella, you have to remember, it's a tech company. So we move from what we used to call internal development or internal centered to more external approach with more the user centered. So we try to basically collect all the feedbacks from the users and basically answer the request from the market. To give you an example, when I joined Acapella 2008, only one Canadian French voice was made available. It was Louis, still part of the portfolio. So I'm sure a lot of you knows about this voice, which was a bit of stereotype for a French Canadian. And all those years we had the request about new voices for the Canadian market. It took time, but finally we're here. We have developed lately new voices. For instance, we've developed 2 years ago, Anthony, the French-Canadian male voice. We are about to release now a new bilingual French-Canadian, English-Canadian, Melanie. And we have also some child voices. So that's all about the partnership with HumanWare. We try to involve HumanWare in all those different steps when we develop new languages, new voices. But the first step came from the market. We try to answer to provide more voices. And of course, you all know about the latest voice AI developments, all those, marketing press release about the new trends, about the text-to-speech solutions, the way we can develop easily voices. That's also something we try to leverage with new way to develop voices. Just to give you an example, today, in October, we are into what we call the AAC Awareness Month. So AAC stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. That's also one of the segments we address at Acapella. And because of that month, we also announced some new developments. For instance, we released about 10 new teenager child voices for the North American market. So that's something we try to increase, in the way we do it, to offer more diversity, more voices for all population, but also for educational side. So for teenager, for children, because we all know children wants to have a voice which sounds like them, not an adult voice. So that's something we try to basically develop with based on the last state of art of the technology, but also using a partner. So that's something we've been doing for all those recent years, like 2 or 3 years ago, starting the project, and we will do more next year. Always considering the usage, the purpose for the market. So we always try to first get in touch with the markets, collect the feedback, and then address and develop in that sense the new voices. Roger, if you can move to the next slide now. So you can find all those Acapella voices in the HumanWare products. Like I said, we have a bunch of new voices we released lately. Anthony was released end of last year, beginning of this year. Melanie depending the French Canadian or English Canadian way, it's a bilingual voice, will be released in a few weeks from now. And we have 2 new child voices bilingual, again, French Canadian, English Canadian. They are due for beginning of next year. and there will be more to come. Like I said, we would just release the US English child voices last week. There's more to come. Those voices, they've just been released from Acapella R&D, so they're not yet in order or in the product of HumanWare, but they will be integrated in the coming weeks or months. Again, what we try to do is to use the latest technology, state-of-art, the machine learning techniques, or how we call it voice AI, and the market collection feedback from the market. That's really important. We define that in the way when we say we try to offer quality. Quality is not about just the voice, the way it sounds. The quality is basically something I use from Patrick Winston, from the MIT professor, was saying the quality was about the knowledge you have about the market, so the knowledge you get that from the users, the practice from the market. So you try to develop new voices, we try to arrange when we do something wrong, always trying to, we don't take anything for granted, we try to improve all the time. And then the training, the material we use to do the voices. So it's really important to have a strong technology side using the machine learning, but if you don't take into consideration the users and collecting the experiences, you can't offer quality. So that's really the go-to for Acapella about the quality, not only about the voice itself, but the feedback. So all those latest voices, they were cast with the user perspectives. We did surveys, we collected the feedback about what voice we should develop, we should use for the voice casting and so on. So it starts from the voice casting to the testing of the voice. So that's really important to involve the market. And that's something I tried to implement a couple of years ago when, like I said, we were just about taking decision internally, and which was, I believe, the wrong idea of doing things. We should always consider the market approach. And that's also true for education. We need more voices, more diversity. We need also African-American voices. We need more dialects. That's something we will address in the near future. Again, using the latest technology and voice AI. So that will give you a kind of routes where we're going with Acapella. But of course, we're always collecting feedback. Like I said, we don't take anything for granted. So any feedback you should just push that through HumanWare because we try to capitalize with HumanWare as a partner, strong partner, because they know what the market needs are, and we develop based on that. So Roger, back to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nicolas. Great stuff there, and certainly it's exciting to see where AI is pushing things in terms of, voice technology as well as everything else that we're sort of encountering these days. So thanks for sharing that. I'm going to slide forward now and quickly share sort of a high-level view of the technology from Acapella that's found in our Prodigy software. And of course, if you're familiar with HumanWare, you know that we service individuals who have low vision or are blind. So we're definitely going to benefit users that have low vision. But I think it's important to note that the voice technologies from Acapella that we use also will benefit diverse learners who may have other learning disabilities, dyslexia, and those sorts of things that it's not always that someone is just low vision. Sometimes they have, a secondary or even a third disability that's combined. So it may be that these come even more important to them. And also, we shouldn't forget that for those that are English language learners or learning a second language, these voices can be very powerful for them as well. In Prodigy, we support 20 different languages presently with 40 different profiles. So if you do the math, that's about 2 voices for each language. That's not exactly how it works out. Some we have 3 or 4 and some we only have 1 for, but in general, about two voice profiles per language that we support. And from those, you can have up to 4 voices installed at any given time. So again, depending upon what you're doing, maybe you like to have 1 voice for reading one type of reading, say science, and you want to have another voice profile to read something that's fiction, you can certainly have different voices installed to use that. And again, we allow up to 4 of those at any given time. So you can also separate the use of those voices for text-to-speech reading of documents or books that you may have downloaded, but also for your system dialogue. So you can use one voice for each of those different tasks if you would like. So with that having been shared, let's take a look and see it actually in action here. So allow me to adjust my cameras here. We'll switch to a different camera and I will stop sharing here. And hopefully everybody has taking over their screen right now my Connect 12 device. And I know we have a number of beginners in the group today. So before I jump in here, Eric, let's very quickly just check in that there aren't any questions from Nicolas's presentation.
There is no currently, there's no questions right now, and I just spotlighted your webcam for everybody.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you, Eric. Okay, so again, what you're seeing here is my Connect 12. It's already turned on, and we have our Prodigy software interface turned on. And just very briefly, what Connect 12 is a low vision magnification device and much, much more. It is based on an Android tablet. So at the bottom center of this stand that it's currently in, there's a clip that I can pull and remove my tablet out. So this Android tablet could be taken, and if you think about using it on a couch or laying in bed to read things that are already downloaded and some of the other functions. Let me slide this document out from underneath and just turn this sideways so you can see that it is in a stand here that I'm utilizing, and the tablet can be adjusted up and down so I can get it to different angles that might be comfortable for me. I'm going to place a document under here and just quickly highlight that magnification capability for you here. So here we see a document underneath that I can use the buttons across the bottom here to zoom in and zoom out. Being a tablet, I can also use gestures, and that happens to be in English right now. I'm going to quickly flip this over for you, and you'll see it in French now here as well. Now, we do have the ability to capture this image in OCR. Because we only have 30 minutes today, I've already pre-captured this, so I'm not going to do that just to save us a little bit of time here today, but you can turn the lights on and off, and it should change the image a little bit underneath there as I do that. And then you can also adjust different settings that you might want to have for visual needs here. So again, on the upper left here is a back button that will return me to the magnifier, and then down here, I'll hit that button, that's a back button, and come back out to what we call our carousel mode. And again, most 60%, I believe, were beginners. What I will focus on today is, again, sort of at the core of what Connect 12 is all about, and that is using that text-to-speech from Acapella. So you'll get a good sort of understanding of how to set up and use the different voice profiles and voice technology that we have in here. But what I'm going to do is just, in my carousel is what we call this, I'm going to scroll to my right here and go into the settings that allow me to make different adjustments for it. So I can see my battery here and I can adjust my audio and system settings. But first, what I'm going to do is tap on this first item in the list here, which is user interface. It's about in the center of my screen right now. And again, a moment ago, you saw me come in from what we call the carousel. That's the interface mode that I have set right now. You can go to a tile or even a more simplified interface if you would like. I'm going to leave it in carousel for right now, though. And then what we're really focused on today is this voice technology. So I'm going to go into this second item in the list here that says system language, and to the right you can see it's actually set to English right now, Heather. And the first thing that comes up in my system languages, you can see there are 4 voices here: Français, Antoine, French, and then I have Louis, a Canadian voice, French, Canadian, English. Peter is a UK version of English, and then I have Heather, US English is what is turned on with the check mark on the right as my system language right now. So I can use any of those. I'm going to scroll down right now just to highlight again, there's a configuration down here that will allow me to select other voices. So right now I do have the full complement of 4 voices installed on my device, but let's just scroll down here in the list just so you can get a sense. And I'll take a look in my Spanish here as I scroll down, and you can see that we actually have 3 different voices to choose from for Spanish. So basically, if I wanted to switch to one of those, I could tap onto it there and then tap this little airplane in the upper right corner. Because I have four voices installed right now, I would be prompted to uninstall one of them and then go ahead and install that Spanish voice again. So it's basically that simple to add and change voices. So certainly go ahead and explore those as you will. What I wanted to show was how the system language voice has an effect. So again, we're in English right now. I'm going to tap on Francais, Luis, as Canadian French, and at the top of my screen now, you can see that the system language has switched to French. I'm going to use this back button in the upper left to back out, and you can see that my entire interface has now switched to being a French interface. So here I can see my language of the system is French. I can scroll down and let's back out one more so you can see that it's taken over all of my interface in French there. And my French is very beginner. So I'll tap on audio there. I know what that is. And what I wanted to show here was that you can set the audio to be turned on in different situations. And it looks like I lost my connection to my speaker here. Let's see if I can get that to come back online here. Bear with me here.
So while you're doing that, Roger, we had a couple of questions coming in.
Okay.
So the first one was a question if there's a case, a protective case that comes with the Connect, and it does when it's not out of the stand. There is a protective case, a leather protecting case that comes with the device. And there was another question relating to the voice or the TTS. Will it read out loud to you? So yes, the device will read out loud either a scanned document with OCR results, so optical character recognition results, or it will read out also all the menus for you. So those were the two questions that came in. I hope that was useful. If your speaker doesn't work, Roger, we can maybe put the mic, your mic closer.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my speaker going, and I had a feeling that it might do that. Let me just see if it's come back online or not here. So let's go back to audio, which is where I was. Yeah, I'm not getting a connection to my Bluetooth speaker. So let me just lean in here. I'll turn this up all the way.
Put it to max and should be fine.
Documents only.
Yeah, we can hear it now.
Okay. Okay, so I had my Bluetooth, it apparently lost its connection in the first half of our presentation. So our audio may not be as good as I want, which isn't great considering we're talking about text-to-speech here. But right now, this particular setting, I switched back to English so that I could navigate more quickly to try and reconnect my speaker. But so it's the interface is back in English again now. But what I wanted to show is these speech settings right here where we could leverage that voice technology. So hopefully, off sort of speaks to completely off, which means that nothing in the interface will be read aloud, and it's off even for if I were to scan a document or open a book. Typically, by default, we have it set to documents only, which means, again, if I capture a document and OCR, optical character recognition, that document, or I open a book that I've downloaded, I can have those read. And then the last setting is on. So essentially, when we turn it on, it means that the speech is going to be given for everything that you do, wherever you go in the software.
We're not hearing anything.
Okay,
Roger.
you're not hearing it. Okay, so bear with. I'm going to go put back on DocuSign. But when it's in on, if my external speaker was working right now, you would hear that it's reading everything in the interface for me so that I don't have to read that myself. So again, it would read through my menu items. It will tell me if there's a sub menu, I can tap on it. It will read through the sub menu items and so forth. So that's what's on means. Actually, I wouldn't have that on if you will, throughout a presentation because it's talking all the time. But for a user that needs it, they can have a headset on and they can have all the items on the screen read to them in that environment. So I'm going to leave it on documents only, and I'm going to back out to my carousel because I wanted to come over. And again, I showed you the magnifier briefly already. What I wanted to show you is in my gallery, I've captured those, and hopefully I can get it to read a little bit of this and you can hear a little bit. Eric and I tested this earlier, but let's just zoom in a little bit on this document. And I'm going to press on the word climate up here.
Major impacts on ecosystems.
Yeah, I think Zoom is really blocking the sound, kind of like
Okay,
the background sound.
All right,
I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
really-
This is what happens when you don't pray appropriately to the technology gods in the morning. So it was reading along out loud in the voice of Heather right there in English on this document. And what you'll notice here is that if I back up here, this is what the document looks like underneath of here when it was captured. So it's like the full view of it. And when it's reading, it changed the image and just showed you the text there. And what we do in that case is we're actually showing the text in what we call diamond edge text, which we've patented, that gives you this nice, crisp, clear, it's basically a lossless font that you would see. So let's just come back out again. I'll tap that back button twice. And I wanted to show the document again here now in French. And this is captured again, so I can zoom in onto it. Again, this is the exact view of what the document looks like underneath, but it's captured. So you'll notice when I move the document out, it's not moving on the screen. And here, again, you won't hear this, but I'm going to press. This was going to be very powerful because right now, when it's reading aloud, if you'll recall, we had English Heather turned on, and this is obviously not an English document. I can tap these gear wheels here in the bottom bar and go in and say, you know what, this is a French document. I don't need Heather, I need Antoine, or I need Luis. So no, Luis is on there, and I can back out. And again, you're not going to hear this, which I apologize for, but it is now reading with a French voice. So it's that quick and easy to switch between different languages. So I come back around to that benefit of having the ability to install up to 4 different voices. And for users that may be in second language environments, it can be very powerful for them to be able to switch from one voice or one language to another quickly on the fly. Going to back out of this captured document, and again, this lack of audio is kind of harmful here, and scroll in my carousel. There's the magnifier again. We also have a distance camera. I won't show that today because I know I'm running up on time, but I did want to show our books application as well. And when we open this up, this allows us to go in and activate memberships with different book providers that we might use in different territories around the world. Bookshare is a big one in North America. They have over 1 million books. And you can hear again, download books. So I have short stories in French for beginners as an example here. And again, I would be able to use those voices that I've installed onto my system to read back this book that I've downloaded in French, or the other books you may have noticed in my list there were in English. So very quick demonstration of the voice technology. I apologize that my speaker lost its connection, so you didn't really get the full benefit of that. But I do hope that you'll explore a little bit in your Connect 12 and the Prodigy software, leveraging the voices that we have available to you. I'm going to stop here and allow for any questions. I think we're about out of time.
Yeah, well, questions were coming in. I answered them by writing. One interesting question I have here, maybe Roger, you can answer. Can this software be applied to a PC for document, both online and on a computer screen?
Presently, no. Presently, the Prodigy software is an Android-only based software.
But I would recommend to stay tuned.
Yes.
Okay, so that was the interesting question that I had there that I wanted to share with everybody. I've answered most of the questions in writing. I think everybody got answered. So yeah,
Okay.
so
All right. Well, thank you, Eric.
and I just wanted to add, also, if you have a voice that is installed, let's say Chinese and English, and you have a document with both languages, it will detect both languages when you do the OCR. Just as a little notice.
Yep.
So I'm going to start the poll,
okay.
the exiting poll, Roger, and then you
Okay.
can continue.
All right. Well, first of all, Nicolas, thank you for joining us today. Much appreciated.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate and enjoy the demonstration live because we just do voices, so it's good to have the final product as demonstration. So yeah, congrats for that.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining. I hope that you found this to be useful. And I think it definitely, since we had a preponderance of beginners, I think that if you followed along and you review this, you're going to find that it can be very helpful to you in getting started in using a Connect 12 or a Mac Connect with the Prodigy software. So we'll leave the poll open. And if there's any questions, we'll be wrapping up here in just a moment.
Thank you very much, Roger. This was a very helpful webinar.
All right. Thanks, everyone.